Hey everybody, I hope you're doing great. I'm doing something a little different today and I'm labeling it number one. Number one, I don't know, interdimensional healing, something of this kind. I haven't decided what the title is going to be of the video yet, but you're going to know. I don't know yet. But I'm going to do some healing for the planet. And it's interdimensional, so whether it's present day or some other timeline, whether it's this version of Earth or some other version of Earth, everything is like a book. It's got many pages, and every page is a story and is a layer to the totality that we are inhaling and exhaling through our cosmic beings every single day that we're here in some concept of time. And whether that's a specific country, a specific location, or an unidentified location, whether that's in this dimension or some other dimension, I want to start focusing my energies on shifting the suffering of our planet, the energetic suffering of our planet, the energetic suffering of our collective human race. Because when I can shift that energy as a collective, as a group, we all individually benefit. Okay, so whether we know each other specifically, every single billions of people on the planet, there are people doing incredible things, living very simple lives behind closed doors that we'll never know who they are. We need to be grateful for those people and what they're doing with their energy and with their heart and with their spirit, right? And whether we'll ever meet them or not. And there's going to be people that never know that I did this number one healing, okay? And then there's probably going to be a number two and a number three. But this is to remind you here in some way that there are people that care about the planet and care about humanity that are doing something of their own talent in order to try to make a difference, okay? So that's a big deal. I don't want anyone to give into a sense of hopelessness about the way the world is turning. Anyone to give into a sense that something dark is swallowing us up and there's nothing we can do but wait for the ultimate end, the ultimate destruction, whether this lifetime or maybe 100 years from now or whatever. There's so much gloom and doom out there. And I'm going to clean up the gloom and doom. I'm going to clean up the purgatory. I'm going to clean up the broken souls. I'm going to clean up that energy. And when I clean up that energy, it does that not only externally, internally. We're part of everything. We are inhaling and exhaling everything. So for instance, child trafficking, for instance, the unfathomable suffering and terror happening for children that nobody knows who these kids are or what's happening to them. It's almost like it's not happening. That's a serious, serious issue. And that energy is something we're inhaling and exhaling every single day, whether we know it's happening or not, whether we care, whether it's part of the forefront of our minds or not. It exists. It exists. There's other things that we can't fathom that exist, really beautiful things, really terrible things, interdimensionally interconnected with this space that we are participating in. You know what I mean? And so my talent, right? We all have a talent. What's your talent? If you were to identify what you're good at, and we have talents, like, and it doesn't have to be something, well, I wish I had the talent to do that, but I mean, if I were to say what my talent is, I don't know, I'm really good at using a vacuum cleaner. I mean, it's like, I'm telling you, every talent matters, okay? And that's how we start to understand how we fit the pieces of the puzzle together in order to work together. We work with people's talents, and then we empower people's talents to become the best of that talent, and then we work together to make it an even better world. So my talent is translating energy and projecting my consciousness into spaces, sharing my experience there, which is going to expand your perception of reality, provide some wisdom and some education on how to move energy. I'm all about fearlessness because fear doesn't exist. Only the idea that something is terrifying and then now you have to face that in here to become stronger than that. And now the fear becomes small and you become big. But all it is perception, right? You have to build the strength. You have to build the relationship with yourself. You have to build it. In the energy world, fear is weakness. It's insecurity. It tries to grow into something terrifying, and the more it can manipulate into controlling them or manipulating them, now it has people. And then it has lots of people, and those people are infected with something dark, right? And then through them, because they're not dealing with their inner demons, they're just becoming part of a big cosmic demon, they start to be animated puppets of something that's twisted and dark. And then they're just infiltrating everyday life, right? Well, there's those of us who are working with angelic energies and working with the spirit of Mother Earth and working with all this other energy, and we're animated. We're not puppets to that energy, because that energy welcomes us to be true to our nature and guide us to understanding what that is. The demonic energy doesn't want us to be true to ourselves. It wants to be true to whatever that demon is all about. And then if we're afraid of that demon, or we are manipulated into thinking that demon makes us more powerful, and it could be something of the ego, it's something of greed, or something of, I don't know, whatever it might be, then animates the body, and you don't take ownership of your special, unique self because of that weakness. So that's in every layer of society. That's in people. That's, well, I mean, is it in trees? Is it in animals? Is it in the air? Physically? Interdimensionally? There's some pretty sick spaces, radiated spaces, satanic spaces, you know? Spaces that are trying to become like blanketed with something gross. So here I am, number one, healing for the planet, the human race, interdimensional healing that is going to not only make a difference in moving that negative energy, transmuting it. It's just like, here's a cancer, and then we face that cancer. That cancer could be a physical cancer, it could be a demonic being, it could be a satanic ritual, it could be this movement of child trafficking, it could be somebody in your life who's a total narcissist, and it's destroying and putting wedges everywhere, you know, whatever. So there's different types of cancers, but we got to face these cancers. We can't just like forget, ignore, push it off to the side. We have to face this stuff. We have to deal with this stuff. And this is how I can deal with it. This is how I can help. This is how I can teach you how to help. Because whether you're talented at vacuum cleaning, or you're talented at, I don't know, making awesome food, or you're talented at writing, or you're talented at being a good listener, or you're talented at, you know, accounting, like there's some, each have a talent that's really powerful. And we need to focus on what makes us thrive, and what makes us go, and what makes us tick, and what makes us the best that we can be in society to make it a better world, you know? Anyway, I'm going to chill. I'm going to relax here. I'm just opening the door. Interestingly enough, it's creaky, like needs to be oiled. I just like open this door. It's just like represents this cosmic opportunity to help humanity. I'm at the ground level in the human form. I'm here. Show me where to go that is going to make it a better world for all time. And for all those who will watch or not watch this video. Show me. So it's a very simple sort of wooden door with a wooden frame, and it's got golden hinges and a golden knob, and then it opens like a creaky sound to it. And it's, you guys know Beetlejuice, where they have this like door, and then sometimes you go through the door and you fall in the sand world, and there's like these big sand snakes. It's like that. When I step to the edge of the door and then I step off, it's like I'm stepping into another environment that's just impossible. I don't know how to understand it yet. I need just some time here to translate it, but it's very, very cold, energetically cold. It's like walking into a freezer. There's no snow or frost or ice or anything. It's just energetically cold. I hear the sound of people talking behind closed doors. I see it's not necessarily a large room, but the room is, it's got a table, and it's not oval shape. It's actually cut at the ends, but it bows out in the center, and then it's flat here. But maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 chairs, but they're all kind of huddled really close. They're not really sitting down, but they're looking at plans. So there's a big piece of paper, and they're pointing and talking and discussing this big plan here on the table. And again, it's just quite a small, confining room. The colors of the room are kind of like I don't know what the material is. It's not metal or stone or wood. It's just, but it's blue. Okay, it's like a silvery blue color, and it does capture the light, and the light reflects off of it. And these all look like human people. My guides asked me, would I identify them as having a purpose for the better or the worst of others? better for themselves, the worst for others, or is it a solution? Like what is my assessment of them? But I need to take a moment here, really pay attention. I say that I'm not sure right now. I'm trying to get into the actual room, but there's like this energetic barrier. I can't tell. The only way I can tell is to move my consciousness into being some of these people. I have to ask my heart if I feel like that's what I want to do, or if I feel something guiding me somewhere else. I need a minute here. Suddenly I become one of these people, and this man, he's on the shorter side. He's small and skinny, and he has it's not like he intends to have a beard, but it's just he hasn't shaved in a while. He's thinning on top, and his hair is all short. And he has a French accent. He's quite passionate. Whatever is driving him, whatever the outcome is he's trying to achieve, he's quite passionate. The passionate people are quite influential because they need to attain that passion, that experience that they're driven towards. And passion is it's inspiring. I like the way the passion feels, but I don't know if it's good intention or not. It takes time to make sense of things. You can't just assume. You can't just add it up and say, yep, I betcha it's like this. No, you got to be confident, and I'm not confident yet that I know. So what's odd is I'm setting, they're like little green buttons, and I set them at the corners of the table, which there are 4. And these buttons flash. And they're green, but they flash a yellow light on the inside. I don't know what it means. I also start to take a kind of a pen, and I start drawing lines in this room, up and down, from ceiling to floor, from ceiling to floor. And there's many lines in here. And these lines do not care about what we decide is the shape of a space. They care about everything interconnected interdimensionally with the space, everything, time and everything. Then what I do is I turn this sheet upside down, I make it very small, and I make it invisible. And this man who's passionate notices something is different. Then I take the table and I make it invisible. And these others that are here, so if there's 8 people, the 7 of them don't notice. But the man who's passionate does notice. And the others start to disappear now too. And now I have a chair, and I'm just looking him eye to eye. And I tell him straight up, I say, you know, this is number 1, and I'm going to do some interdimensional healing. And I'm here because I'm called to be here. And I'm not sure what that means exactly, but I would sure like to get to know you better in order to understand why I would be called to meet you. Oh, well, he's not what he appears to be. He's quite strange looking. And they remind us that, okay, if we were to see people for who they are on the outside, we would have one perspective of somebody. If we were to get to know that person over the course of a lifetime, their hardships and their successes, then we would add that to what they look like and their life story. So now we have more than just one perspective. We have a multidimensional perspective. We have more of the mold and shape of a soulmate or friend, or who knows, maybe it's an enemy that you happen to have coffee with every now and then for some reason. But there's more dimensional understanding because of time and because of the exchange. And so if you were to also take away, if you were to actually see their subconscious universe, for instance, now you're facing millions of personalities living totally crazy lifetimes in different energetic spaces. And now you're going to get to see even more interdimensionally a single expression there, that which is an individual human being. There's so many layers to a human being. You could say simply a human being is their mind and their emotions and their sexuality and their physicality and their soul. So already we're describing very basically multidimensional expressions of a single individual person, okay? There's many, many layers. Each person is a book with many, many layers to their identity. So I don't see the human in front of me. I see something else, and I don't know what to make of it. It's so random looking. Basically, it has a furry red face that's flat, and it's kind of squared, but it has these weird, constantly moving, like something you might see under the water, like the, I don't know, filaments or something. These like squishable things, and they're all over his head, and they're constantly moving and kind of like feelers, but they're quite short, maybe an inch long all over, in this red face. And then he has a, I don't know, purple kind of beast-like body with a crab arm. And then he has even stranger, and these are green, and they come out the back of him, and they're almost like an ant has, like animals, they have, you know, ways of feeling around, whether they're whiskers or they're actual feelers, but these are feelers that come from his backside. And then he's using these feelers to feel me out. But he also has the ability in his skin to sense things that are changing in the atmosphere around him. So he's already intuitive, he's already picking up on something. But I just come as a plain old person. And let's see what he sees in me, right? I mean, I don't really care what he looks like, but I'm going to tell you how things are changing so we can follow along together. Something's off about him. It's not about good or evil. There's a glowing stone in his chest, and I guess it's something akin to his own heart. But where it's located is more so like where the sternum is. It's just somehow kind of maybe between the heart and the throat, but it's more at the upper chest in the center. It's oval shape. And I move my consciousness into that stone, and I thank him for showing it to me. He's quite patient. Well, inside of here, it just seems to be overgrown in here. What it looks like is basically it glows a yellowy orange everywhere. What's the sky? What's the ground? What's the walls? It just is this way. And then there seems to be something of a bushy type, random, sporadic branches with some leaves, and it's very sporadic, almost like I think you know, like in the body there could be like little branches. I think maybe like with the nervous system, or with I just see they could be vein like with like I don't know these terminologies, but it applies also to a type of a part of the body that has to do with blood flow. But it also it kind of reminds me of the nervous system though too. This look, these sort of random branches every now and then with little, they look like leaves, not like spheres or anything. They look like little leaves, and they're dark green color. They're very random and sporadic. I'm supposed to heal this in him. And so I become these random things in here. And their hands, they look like, when I go inside of them, it's just a doorway to another space. So when I go inside, I see hands that are not attached to wrists and arms, okay? They're just like thing, you know, from Adam's family. They're just like random hands everywhere. And these hands are trying to work, and they're trying to accomplish something, but they have no direction. And they're kind of jumping around like, show us, tell us, what do we do? Where do we go? We're ready. And there's no guidance for these hands. But what I do is I grow bodies attached to hands. And there's another energy here that doesn't like that. Doesn't want the bodies to be attached to the hands. And wants just hands that are clueless of what to do with themselves. Do you have any familiarity with this as a human being? You have helping hands, but you have no clue what to do with your hands? Like, what is my calling? I want to be of service to humanity, and I don't know what to do. And I have these hands that are restless. Like, what do I do? So this kind of reminds me of that. So a lot of people start to appear here, and now they have their hands back. They have a connection with their hands again. And their hands have information in them, There's information in their hands, and their hands are people. And these hand people are talking to the rest of the body like, oh, it's been so long. I've been waiting for you to come back to me. I'm so ready to get started on something, a project of some kind. And remember, this guy, in all his strangeness and the way he looks now, he's passionate, remember? So passionate people can do terrible things and beautiful things. But passion is still like this fire, right? So it's admirable. Like, I admire passion. I admire because it is so ridiculously creative and it births many things into the world, terrible things or beautiful things. And if it's passion that creates terrible things, is it like a heart-centered passion? Is it an ego-based passion? Like, is it a fear-based passion? Like, what kind of passion and where does it come from exactly? So his passion that I admired was like fuel for the fire and creating something. Well, what is it? I don't know yet, right? So I'm going inside of him in order to determine what I'm called to do here. Because you know what? You can ask your guides all day long, what do I do? And silence. Just tell me what to do and I'll do it. Silence. And then sometimes they'll tell you, it's like, yeah, I'm not doing that. Well, then stop asking, if you're serious, and then we'll tell you, and then you're going to do it. Nah, I don't want to do that. That's what it's like working with the spirit realm. All right, so I'm here to help him. And there's many people here, and the hands are communicating with their bodies. Men, women, and there's people that don't look like human people. I don't know what to make of what they look like, but they have human hands. There's all different shapes, sizes, colors. It's pretty cool to see people from beneath the surface of their human self, Like, what do we actually look like? We look like this. It's like, judge the book by its cover, not by its content, Do we look like this, or do we look like something else, you know what I mean? And we look quite scary. Like, you want to see what real demonic people look like, and then you get to see them for who they really are, and they can't hide it. It's like, you can put on all that nice face and clothes, but you're gross inside and out, and I can see it on you, and you can't hide it from me. Wouldn't that be wonderful to live in the human world where we can actually see people for who they truly are? Now who are we going to vote in for leadership? The ugly people from the inside out, because we can judge the book now by its content, because we can see it on their very aura. We can see it on their faces, right? So this is how I see people for who they truly are. Because I can't judge them until I get to know them, and I have to go through many layers in order to really make a proper interpretation. So I like what I see here. And I see so much variety. It's like going to the grocery store and all they have is one type of apple, and that's it in produce. But now we have grapes and strawberries and Bing cherries, and we have random veggies and like, what's that vegetable? I've never seen that one before. What could it possibly taste like? People eat that thing? You know what I'm talking about. Like, go to the grocery store, it's like, I don't know what that is. I don't even know how to cook that thing. But people obviously get that thing, And that's what you see. It's like so much variety here, and it's beautiful. Variety is so beautiful. People are acclimating to themselves because they have their hands back. You should feel that way. You've got your hands back. And get to know who you are as the gem and the individual gem that you are. So special. It's like, do you want repeats? Do you want copies? You ever drive through a neighborhood and it's the same house on repeat? It's like, what a boring neighborhood. Like, we all know what each other's houses look like on the inside, just different furniture. It's like, isn't there anybody who has creative thought anymore? Or is it just like, you know what, it's easy, it's quick, and I'm just going to do the easy, quick thing instead of having any kind of creativity. I love creativity. I like uniqueness, So I see that here in this space, inside this guy's version of a heart that is a little bit higher than his heart. But then these beings that aren't happy about it, I mean, what, do I need to pay attention to the people that aren't happy about other people being happy? Like, do we need to care about the miserable people that need to learn how to be happy? Let's see if I do. No, I am. I'm supposed to welcome them into this celebration. And I welcome them to find their hands as well. And I tell them that they are of use to humanity, that they're not thrown away, they aren't trash. And I start to see the reflections of these spirits as people who didn't matter to their parents, is what they translated it as. They're like kids, they're still working through childhood trauma, and it's not like they have the mental ability or some sort of skill set to be able to understand it. They just feel bitter, and they feel sad and angry in ways they don't really know how to correct it. And they fume, and they emit type of grease, and They don't want to heal it or let go of it because the pain makes sense. So they simmer in it. They just boil it and become a disgusting soup of a person. But it's not because they are disgusting. It's because their pain is gross and they don't know how to fix it, to heal it. So we're going to bring them in and welcome them to find their hands and welcome them to be a part of the joy and the celebration of this. And naturally, this is inside this guy, right? So what is inside of you and what is inside of me, you know? And we need to feel as though we're all the one that is worth healing, worth helping, and that we have the solutions, and that within us are even more people that we have the solutions for them. And even for the conflict that also exists there, we have solutions for that. And that you, the viewer, you are somebody that is special too. And there are those who are called to help you and guide you and heal you. And don't be afraid to let that support in. And you may even notice it when something changes. It might even make you nervous, make you uncomfortable, make you intimidated, because you're given the opportunity to face something in the reflection of yourself that needs to be healed. But when the pain is faced, is focused on, it's intimidating, because you're actually mending something you've carried for a long time, and now who are you? But you also have to feel the shame or the confusion or all the time associated with how it lingered there, and it makes you feel like crying in a way that it hurts, you know? And it's not a good feeling. You guys know what I'm talking about. When you cry so ridiculously hard and it hurts to cry like that, and you don't know what to do with all of that sensation, it's like this mix of agony and sorrow and the breaking down of your own soul, and it's like everything in one kit and caboodle, and you don't even have an emotional state for it other than to just bawl your eyes out, and everything feels like it's in pain. It's a different kind of pain. Emotional pain is just a different kind of pain, but it's uncomfortable. And we all need to exist in that discomfort in order to truly heal. You know what I mean? So there are those from this group of resistance that are actually wanting to be healed, wanting a moment like this, and some are joining with us. And we hug them like long lost brothers and sisters. And they emit kind of the same purpley black glow. And they're trying to find their true color, their true calling. They're trying to find themselves again. And some want to and some don't. We can't judge those who don't want to, but we can always open the door for the opportunity. You know what I mean? To help. This is all feeling so beautiful in here. It feels like resurrection, rebirth. And I'm leaving that stone in his chest. And he actually takes the stone now and he hands it to me. And I say, oh, I thought that was your heart. I mean, it was saying it was a part of your heart. And he says that it is a part of his heart. But he also shows me he also has this heart, which is like a human heart. And he starts to look like a human now. And I smile. And I don't know what to do with this stone right now. I'm just sort of lingering here, holding it. But my hands know what to do with it. And when I absorb it into my hands, it is healing for all hands. It's healing for my hands, your hands, everybody's hands, and the whole planet. And this man had a solution. He was carrying it inside of his own energetic technology. Like we are full of information. We are full of infinite energy and information. That's the truth. Like, yeah, the body is going to be born, it's going to age, it's going to die, but our energy is infinite, you know? And we're given the gift to work through like the rule book of our world. So in that rule book, we have to bathe, and we have to, you know, we have to eat, and we have to build things, you know, have children and all that stuff. Like, there's a rule book to our world, and we're given that gift and that blessing to be here, to live in the rule book of this space and to heal it and mend it and breathe life back into it, and so that all can rejoice, all can be happy, you know? That happiness is just like the sense of I want to just say, like, you know, there's happy times and there's sad times, but what is happiness every single day of your life? There's a reason why things come and go, and there's like an ebb and flow, like of, you know, the tide and all of that. It's like that happens to us. We go through good times and bad times as part of growth. But like true happiness is this place It's just this place inside where you just know that all your needs are met, and you don't need more or less than what you are inside yourself, that you are whole and that you exist in wholeness in a world that is whole. And no matter what happens, it is all complete, and it is all whole, and it is all divine, and is part of your calling to participate in the good and the bad times. And when you can find that contentment in whatever happens, you're powerful. You're powerful. So this stone is like a lotion. I just like rub it in my hands, but through my hands, I share it with all. And I see his hands glow, and my hands glow, and everybody on the planet's glowing hands. And this is a gift of love. This is a gift of love, and we all have these little secret pockets. We all came here with some kind of secret, some kind of riddle that we could be the solution. We all have a solution inside, I see the table return. These green things enter into the table, and the lines become invisible, but they're part of some kind of energetic structure that's going to help with the flow of this space. See the people return, and the man had a vision, basically. And now he's returning to his work and this conversation. It's still mysterious. But then I leave this space, and I come back to the frame of the door, and the door disappears. And I bow to the universe, and I bow to the planet, and I bow to all that choose to help this space and time, and whether they're a spirit being or an alien being or an angel or, an animal or a tree or a person or, all are part of this. We are all a part of this. And that's wonderful. That's wonderful. And so that's what I'm called to share. Thank you all so much for being a part of this experience with me. I hope you feel a sense of empowerment and enlightenment through this healing that I was guided to do for the world and for you, for me, for our souls, and for everything. I hope you found it useful and meaningful. All right, that's what I've got for now. If any of you are interested in having me support you in your individual life, I'd love to share wisdom and healing for you. And you can book a session at my website at abbeynormalswisdomquest.com. Have a great day, everybody.